reference the shooting that we had this morning in 1400 block of North Lima Street. We've got some major developments to announce at this time. First, the male that we found in the alley, he did succumb to his injuries earlier this morning. The second major development is we have made an arrest in the case, and we are no longer looking for any outstanding suspects at this time. So let me, with those big announcements, let me kind of back up and share with you what we know at this point. The resident of the house was in the front room with his female guest. When two suspects arrived, they were armed. A struggle ensued inside the home, at which point one of the suspects was shot. That's where he died, inside the apartment. The male resident, made it outside the house and was running toward the alley when he was shot multiple times by the second suspect. That suspect then goes back inside the home, steals the keys to the resident's black Cadillac, and fled the scene. At some point during this altercation, the female did suffer a gunshot wound. We're still piecing that together, how that occurred. The black Cadillac was located a short time later in the 2500 block of North Dallas Street. Information was developed once we found the vehicle about who this second suspect was who fled. He was arrested by noon today. He was located in Denver and arrested with the help of Denver Police Department at 33rd and Jasmine. It wasn't without incident. He did try to run from officers, and K-9 was deployed. Did cause some injuries. He was sent to the hospital. He has been released and is now at the Aurora jail. We are not releasing his name at this time. This is an ongoing investigation. We've got several locations that we are writing search warrants for in hopes of gaining more evidence as far as this case. So, again, to recap from what was learned this morning, the female's injuries were non-life threatening. In fact, not even serious bodily injury. The male resident did succumb to his injuries this morning. One of the suspects dead inside the house, and the second suspect that we were looking for was arrested by noon today. So that's the recap. What questions do you guys have?
Who shot the second suspect? One inside the apartment.
Okay, those questions we don't have the answers to. We haven't actually got, because all of this was developing so quickly, we haven't been able to get into the apartment yet to do that search, because obviously public safety, we were hot on the trail of the suspect, so of course that was priority. So we've been holding on that apartment on Lima, and we will get that search warrant and get that searched and kind of start putting those crime scene pieces and that evidence together.
Any inclination of recover?
That I can't answer either. We have the Cadillac, which we are waiting for a search warrant. It's in a seizure bay, so we will search that. We don't know what we'll recover in there. And again, we haven't made it all the way into the apartment to do a good search in there. So again, I can't answer that specifically.
Can you talk about, is it gang, drug related? Do people walk into somebody's house with guns?
Yeah. So what I can tell you is that the people involved had extensive criminal history, ranging from we've got violent acts, we've got a lot of drug history there. So, and the other thing is all these parties involved, their ages range from 40 to 66. So older folks, if you will.
It's a forced entry.
Still trying to determine that.
And the second suspect, was he armed when he was taken into custody by the police?
I do not know. It wasn't stated, so my guess is probably not. I think that I should probably agree on that.
Okay.
We do believe that the suspects went to that specific house for a reason, that they were acquaintances, that they were known. So we do not believe that this was a random act of violence.
Was it a drug transaction, or do you know yet?
We don't know yet. Obviously, that is something we are looking at.
Is that a robbery?
Again, we are looking into motive. It's too early to say at this time exactly what that motive was. All of those we're looking into.
Cassidee, to clarify, of the 4 people, 3 men and a woman, does every single one of them have criminal history of some sort?
Yes, every single one of them has some sort of criminal history. Some more colorful than others, but yes.
Was the woman shot, or did she have some other sort of injury?
No, she was shot, and luckily it wasn't even a serious bodily injury. So I was asked earlier if she was released. I don't know that, but highly possible because it wasn't serious bodily injury.
Were there multiple rounds fired in the location? Was it more of a shootout, or just was it one shot like Stand Your Ground or Make My Day?
No, multiple rounds fired at different places, and that's all we're trying to gather from the scene. We believe some fired outside, some were fired inside. So all that hopefully we'll recover evidence that can help us piece that together from the science standpoint.
We heard that there was injuries, perhaps from a sword, to one of the suspects. Can you say if that's true or not?
We're still, obviously, the deceased will be examined by the coroner to give a further explanation of exactly how they died. All that I can confirm is that there were shots fired. The bit about the sword, again, we haven't gotten into the apartment to be able to confirm what weapons were, what we will locate.
Do you know how many guns were in the rental car?
I do not.
Apartment or house, please?
I apologize. I keep going back. It's, there are individual addresses up there. They're connected row homes. I don't know if they're individually. I do not believe they're individually owned because there's a property manager there. So I keep kind of using those words interchangeably.
Rental property then?
Yes. As far as I know, I believe it's a rental property.
As far as the Aurora Police Department is concerned, is this a known address or a known street for activity like this, guns, drugs, illicit things that you respond to in that area?
Yes, we're familiar with that address and we're familiar with the area.
Can you clarify or maybe elaborate how you're familiar with it?
Yeah, that our narcotics unit was involved in this investigation as far as helping put some pieces together. Our gang unit is also familiar with that area. It's an active area. It's a busy area of the city.
What about the name of the homeowner?
Okay.
Are you releasing that or any of the names? I know you're not releasing.
No, we won't release the deceased names, either the suspect or the homeowner, and we'll let the Arapahoe County Coroner's Office do that. We want to make sure next of kin has been notified, and we'll let the Arapahoe County Coroner's Office know.
As far as the female victim, is she a person of interest for anything, since we're talking about everybody having criminal records?
At this point, I don't believe that we're looking at any sort of charges for her.